Hi, I'm Dr. Joe Labrie, and this is Dr. Gary Rhodes, and we're here to talk with you for a moment about the role alcohol will play in your study abroad experience. Too often, people fail to do and take advantage of all of these opportunities because they let alcohol get in the way, and they spend a lot of their time recovering from heavy drinking incidences or actually getting in a lot of trouble while they're abroad. We want that not to happen to you. We want you to have the best study abroad experience you can have.
Alcohol can be out there. If you choose to drink, do it responsibly. And if it's part of the fun that you have at night in a balanced way, plan it so that it doesn't ruin your fun, so that it doesn't result in an accident or an injury. Don't let alcohol get in the way of having study abroad be the life-changing experience that it can be for you.
Study abroad is perhaps one of the most incredible experiences you're going to have, and particularly what you're going to have in college. We just don't want alcohol to ruin that experience.
I had a lot of different expectations. I knew I was going to drink. I wasn't going into it naively thinking I wasn't. But I really wish that when I was abroad, I actually thought about the consequences of my excessive drinking.
For the first week or so, week or 2 weeks, pretty much every single night, going to the bars and having a good time.
I expected to see the locals more drunk, but it didn't happen that way. It was more often the Americans getting belligerent.
You can drink on the streets, no big deal. You see people walking around with, beers.
Yeah, my expectations were to go out, drink great beer, hang out with friends, not have to worry about not being 21.
I was thinking, it was going to be a party every night, party till 2, 3 in the morning, get home and just do it again the next day. But in retrospect, it wasn't.
The reality for us as Americans is we kind of went a little crazy. I mean, it's like I turned 21 as soon as I got here.
When I was excessively drinking, that's when I looked the most American. And that's when people looked at me the most. That's when people talked about me as an American the most. It's very funny because that's something that clearly defines us, which is really sad. But I mean, it's something that defines us is that American students tend to drink a lot more than the German students do.
A common comment I would hear from native Italians was that you could always tell who the Americans were because they were the loud ones, stumbling on the cobblestones at 2 in the morning.
When you're at a bar though, and you're in that situation and you have to somehow take the train home and you're getting that drunk, you can't do that really.
You go out, have fun, like you're there to experience a new culture and that's part of it. Their bar life or what have you, but don't get too out of hand because you're in new places, you don't know everything, you don't know how to get around sometimes, so just be safe.
I had a roommate who we rented motorinos when we were traveling to an island in Italy, and he had drinking wine before going on the motorino, and he ended up getting in an awful accident where he needed medical attention and had to pay for the repairs of the motorino. I actually did need medical attention because of alcohol at Oktoberfest. It's really embarrassing because I was so excited for Oktoberfest and I don't remember it. And now that I look back, it was just the dumbest thing. There was no need to really get to that point. A festival's so important in Germany and I don't remember it.
Drugs and alcohol can do more than just hinder your abroad experience, it can change your whole life. For example, 2 New Jersey students on October 31st, 2012 went out for a night on the town during their program in Rome, Italy, ended up consuming drugs and alcohol, and later one ended up stabbing the other 25 times in a drug-induced frenzy.
The less of you there are, the more likely it is that someone might try and take advantage of you.
And they need to be careful of the people they hang around with, because people may just take advantage of you when you're drunk.
I would never go home alone or go out by yourself. Always have a friend with you while going out drinking or going out partying with people that you meet in a new country.
But I think, yeah, I mean, when you're drinking, you're intoxicating yourself. You're altering your state of mind. You need to be with people that, in worst case scenarios, can get you out of bad situations and can get you home.
Myself and two of my friends traveled to Warsaw, and we were at a bar one night. We met these guys, and they kept buying us drinks, buying us drinks, buying us drinks. One guy in particular kept buying my friend drinks the whole entire night, trying to get her really drunk. And we were there, so nothing happened, but he definitely did bring up, do you want to come home with me? So again, it's just important to stay close to your friends and be aware of your surroundings at all times.
Everyone's much more open to, drinking. It's not like, oh yeah, let's go get wasted tonight. It's let's go get a drink after school. Let's go get a drink after work. And you relax, you watch a soccer game. It's, a very social thing there.
I would say for the most part, Europeans drink way less. Maybe not less as often, but less quantity when they do drink.
A lot of college students tend to drink just to black out. When you get that intoxicated, you tend to do really stupid things that can offend people. We definitely, whether we like it or not, we represent America. Just like a Chinese person over here to an American represents China. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of stereotypes and generalizations come up.
We're definitely representing who we are as people, but also who Americans are. And so when we go over there and we drink excessively like that and we can't control ourselves, it becomes a problem.
It's very important to be respectful of what is culturally acceptable and what is considered appropriate.
The money I spent on alcohol definitely inhibited other activities because near the end I was a little short, having to ask my parents for money. Trying not to explain that a lot of my money was blown on alcohol and partying and all that.
Have a good time still. You're studying abroad to study in a foreign country. Big culture over there is drinking. But you need to approach it with some maturity.
Yeah, I would recommend just kind of know your limits, control yourself. You don't want to get really intoxicated and end up in a city that you don't know that well. Just kind of be careful, and you can enjoy a couple drinks, but don't get to that point where you're just blacked out and don't know what you're doing.
Well, to all the future study abroad students, I'd say yes, it's totally fine to go out there, have a drink, enjoy the culture, mingle with the locals. It's part of your experience, and you're gonna have a great time. It's just smart to have a limit that you know that you can't exceed.
I think it's definitely important to realize that you don't always have to have a drink when you go out. You can go out with your friends and order a Coke or a juice and just have a good time. So I think that it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, so know how much you're drinking. Know your limits. Know what you can handle and don't exceed those. Because it won't end well. It just won't.
I really wish I was smarter about it because if I would have cut down my alcohol usage, I could have definitely used it in a more productive way, going to different landmarks or seeing things, or maybe traveling a little more if I hadn't spent so much money on alcohol.
We hope that the students that you've heard from have made an impact on you so that you make a plan to make your study abroad experience as successful as possible and don't have alcohol ruin the experience for you.
What we hope you get from this video is a chance to reflect on the expectancies you already have about the role alcohol will play in your study abroad experience. Think about it anew in light of all of this data that has come to you in this video, particularly the testimonies of the students that have gone before you, and take this, reshape your expectancies, and make your experience the healthiest and happiest it can possibly be.